Okay, so there's a couple motions that your hand does for rotation. Supination and pronation. So basically pronation is turning the hand down like this. Supination is turning the hand up like this. The way to remember is supination, you could hold soup in your hand. You could pour it into that little bowl that you're creating. Supination, pronation. Okay, there's all sorts of different philosophies on like where your outside mallet should be while playing inside mallets. And if you have it down, which is like kind of a West Coast thing, then all of this motion comes from supination, like this. If you're like just rotating, or if you add arm or something, it's different. But so if the outside mallet's down, all supination. Okay, outside mallet up. This is very common in like East Coast techniques, where they want to have the outside mallet up at the same height that you're playing. So this would involve primarily pronation. So it would look kind of like this. And this would be also how, if I was playing a permutation at like a really slow tempo and I cared about the visual aspect of what I was doing, I might play it like that as well, where I use a pronation and then back up to home base. Not everyone's going to agree with that. So anyways, when I'm playing just like inside mallet single independence, I don't want to do 100% supination and I don't want to do 100% pronation. What I like to do, and what I found feels and looks really good, and I'll explain a couple other benefits as well, have the mallet at about half the playing height and then get about half supination, half pronation. So it looks like this. And here's a consideration for why this is good. Say you're doing this version with the outside mallet down. There's kind of this like slice. Like if you get pure rotation, you see how the mallet kind of slices? That's because, say I do this, right? If you look at the path that the mallet takes when I rotate around the outside mallet as the axis, it's like a big ellipse. And there's a curvy part of the ellipse, like up here, which is kind of slicey. There's another curvy part of the ellipse down here, also slicey. But then there's also a long part of the ellipse. And within that long part of the ellipse, there is almost a straight line. It's not a perfect straight line, but that straight line is found from about here to about here, right? So when you have the outside mallet at half the playing height, you get the least amount of slice when you turn your mallet. If you have the mallet down, you get a lot of slice from doing the pure supination. If you have this mallet up, you get slice from pure pronation as well. So the mallet starts here, and if I just rotate, you'll see it goes slightly down to the side. So to avoid slice, and just because it feels good and it's comfortable, having the mallet at half the playing height and playing like this is a really great solution for inside mallet single independent strokes. This is nothing new or game changing, but especially if you're my student, you already know all of this basically. But more content, whatever. Talking to the void.